Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking. I'm coming here with another video review. It is a little chilly in the gaming dojo today because, as the Starks say, winter is coming. And while I don't have much snow on the ground right now up here in Minnesota, it definitely is on its way. So today I'm going to be reviewing. Excuse me, gotta grab something. I'm going to be reviewing an expansion to a game that I did a review of quite some time ago, actually. The game in question is Dark Horse. Dark Horse is a game that was successfully kickstarted quite a while ago, I believe in 2012. And it was designed by Don Lloyd, a pretty nice guy who I've kept in correspondence with. And the expansion that I'm going to be showing you has been in production by Don for quite some time. And actually I've seen like some of the earlier drafts of it, and what you see in front of you is finally like the real beta, you know, like the real thing. And he asked me if I'd be willing. He's got a Kickstarter going for his expansion, and he asked me if I was willing to do a review for him. And of course, I was more than happy to do it because Dark Horse is one of my favorite games to play with either my family. My father really likes it because of the Wild West theme, and also it's a game that I always bring with me to conventions because it's not like a classic like introductory game, because it does have some intricacies to it that, you know, some of the classic gateway games, like some people will refer to like Ticket to Ride and stuff like that as being classic gateway games. But I don't like giving people a gateway game that puts the mittens on and kind of plays with them a little bit. I like a game that challenges somebody. And Dark Horse, it really fits that mold. It introduces people to the world of designer board games really well. It gives them an idea of what to expect, but it also does it in a very presentable and comfortable way. So it's a game that I've taught to many people, and it's one that I really enjoy. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the fact that it has this really beautiful guy as a playable character at all, but yeah, take that as you will. So anyway, I'm almost over my cold. I'm going to show you everything that this expansion adds, and this expansion adds a lot. And actually, I'm probably going to forget a few things, so when I say everything, I apologize if I miss something, Don. But I'm going to show you everything that it adds. I'm not going to show you how to play the game, because I did that back with my early review, but I'll link the early review so you can check that out. It actually has that review is actually on Vimeo of all things, back when my YouTube account wouldn't allow me to have a longer video, and so I wasn't able to have my stuff on here. But anyway, so I will show you like everything that this adds to the game, and then we'll come back and I'll tell you exactly what I think of. Actually, the name of the expansion is called Rebels and Rogues for Dark Horse, and I'll tell you exactly what I think. All right, cool. Let's do this. Alright, here's the awesome game board for Dark Horse. I've always liked how well this was laid out, and how well, just how nice the game looked. The art in the game has been like kind of a weird combination of kind of cartoony and kind of realistic, and I've always this is one of the most visually pleasing games that I've played and that I own, if you will. Okay, so the base game, I'm gonna just show you what the game adds, and like I said, I'll put in the comments area or whatever the actual link on Board Game Geek to my original game. So if you want to learn how to play the game that way, you can do so. You know, the base game came with different character roles. I love games with character roles. I love the whole thing where it's like you have a character that has a special ability that kind of breaks the rules or whatever, and you got to kind of play that. You know, this was the game. You might notice that's like obviously Tom Vassell. If you know who Paul Inccio is, that's well. You can actually see that, you know, there's Don Lloyd actually. There's Aldi from the base game, and of course this, as I said, this handsome dude right there. You know, look at that rugged guy. Anyway, so the expansion comes with more new characters that you're able to play with. Once again, this is just one of those things where the more the merrier, I say. I like one of those things whenever I pick up an expansion, a talisman, the first thing I look at is the new characters, just because I always like the new abilities and the new powers. And so you have a bunch of new characters that you're able to play, and that's always an added bonus, and I really, really like that. Okay. When you're playing the game, like I said, you can add as much or as little to the expansion as you want. One of the most important things the game added in the base game, there was only one type of money, and it was gold. Now there is silver, and silver is like for every 4 silver you get 1 gold, and that's a very important aspect because one of the things that you're able to do with the expansion is you're able to a lot of different trading and everything like that is based off of silver and what you'll get as far as the silver is concerned. But also, when you use certain spots, it'll have an icon on them, and I'll explain. This icon means that it can be robbed up here. But whenever you use the spot, you're not putting your own money on it. You're putting you put a silver on the location. And as those locations get used, these spots will get more and more money on them, and they become more and more tantalizing a target for the bad guys to be able to want to steal that and take that money. But anyway, so you get some new spots that you're able to use. Here the carnival has some different abilities, but one of the things that the carnival adds is if you pay the price for it, you get another die. And so, like as I say, if the base game, it's like this is kind of a dice hero where you're rolling 2 6-sideds and you're choosing the location that you wish to activate, but you get this 4-sided die that you get to roll along with that. You can keep using that actually as long as you're willing to pay the resource cost to do it. There's also a marshal spot that'll take the spot of the sheriff, and when you are the marshal, you will get this icon here. And the marshal, there's a bunch of different icons here as far as like gun battles. This is how many dice they roll when they have gun battles. And the scorpion means they're tough, means that it takes an extra wound to knock them out. And like this means they get bonus to their attacking and what have you. And the marshal, if you have the marshal token, you're able to fight if somebody else has a bad guy and they have a wanted token. You're able to challenge them, and then you can maybe take them out and earn reputation for doing so. They also, if somebody else decides they're going to rob someplace, and you have a marshal token, you're a good guy with good reputation, obviously, you have the option of then challenging them to stop them from doing that. There's also a couple other spots. There's a new trader that'll take the place of the trader over here. The trader is just kind of like it's a better trader. It allows it improves the spot there. Makes it more viable, if you will. And the stagecoach takes over the spot of the pioneer. It's kind of the catch-all location where you can use it to get cards or take silver and things like that. The biggest thing, some of the bigger things that the game adds, the hidden agenda. These are all, I like games with like secret stuff. Hidden agendas are things that you can do here's Paul Bunyan. You receive 3 victory points if you control all the following: 6 influence, 8 resource, and 2 wood resource. So it's something, and you get 4 of these cards, and you keep 2 of them, and after that they're just they're put in the box and nobody goes. And so this is one of those things where you're going to have like, oh, and I satisfied this hidden agenda, and I'm getting these victory points that the other players didn't know about. And you get a big stack of these, and that's I like the hidden agendas. I do think that you should, everybody should be able to like read through these. I mean, obviously there's so many that it really won't help you that much, but at the very least, like somebody might be able to like tell a little bit what somebody's going for. And I always encourage people to read all of those. Another deck of cards, and these deck of cards, like all the other locations that you normally would use to access the cards, you can draw these cards as well. Normally, there's just this event deck that you would draw cards from in the base game, but now there's 2 extra decks of cards. These cards are improvements that you'll build for your city. 'Cause this game is about building your own like city in the Wild West. And so these are improvements that you'll be able to build and place, and they give you certain things. So like, it's like, whenever you collect from the Pioneer Stagecoach, you receive 1 silver. And so there's, different things like that add to it. The one that I really like, that I had in a recent game that I do at the Telegraph office, whenever an event is drawn, or any player builds a technology, you receive 1 reputation. I had this. And it's just cool stuff like that actually, is part of the Old West. It's like Saturn Wars developed the Telegraph and things like that. And it's like that actually adds to, once again, to the flavor and to the feel of the game, and things that I really, really like. I like improvements that stick with you when you play the game, not like a one and done type of things where you just play them and it's gone. Of course, probably the coolest part of the expansion, at least for me, is this. This is the Rebels and Rogues deck. And what this is people from history that you've watched movies of, you've read books of, you've heard stories of, and so on and so forth. I do like this. Flavor text goes here. Flavor text, but anyway, obviously this is like a prototype. And as I always do for any prototype game, the stuff you see in front of you might not look exactly how the game is going to look, but it's a very, very pretty accurate representation. But look, there's Wyatt Earp, Butch and Sundance, and so here you have like all of this rogues gallery, if you will, of people that you can draw, and then when you draw these people, you can place them down in front of you, and that means that they're hired. And once they're hired, then you can start using them for their abilities they have below, and also if they are a bad guy, notice that like some of these people. Like Sam Bass, he's a bad guy. He's got this little the black hat, if you will, and the bad guys then can steal from the locations that have that gun icon, and the good guys like Annie Oakley are the ones that they can challenge those people and stop them from doing that. And if you're able to either as a bad guy, if you're able to defeat the good guys, you actually get bonuses, and then vice versa as far as that is concerned. And also, I should mention that there are some people that, like Calamity Jane here, is like, you notice that it is, she's good or bad. It's one of those things where it's like they're kind of neutral, but then you have to pick a side. And once you pick a side, you kind of build off of that. And it's important to note that the more you need to pick a side and go with it. As far as like your reputation, as you do good and bad things, you'll earn these reputation tokens, black hats and white hats, and the more you earn, the more reputation points they're worth, and so you need to continue down the same path. You can switch sides, but that can be very difficult because you have to basically earn back the good things over the bad things, or vice versa, before you actually start seeing any kind of a bonus from that. There's a couple other things here. The wagon train location takes the place of the market, if you so desire, and then the wagon train is you may pay any 5 resources to receive 3 silver from the game bank, and the banker only pays 4 resources, and so it's a new market spot for the game. Whoever goes last, they get the cowboy boot, which is pretty awesome. You can give them the opponent this card to force that player's die or dice off an action space. The player that is booted from an action space collects the dice that were booted, and any tokens used to place those dice in the booted player must immediately place 1 more dice in the new action space. So this is one of those cool catch-up things where you're going last and somebody takes your spot. You have the option of kicking them off, which is pretty cool. Barnstorming, county seat, and another one that I really like, the Golden Spike, because you're building railways in the game. When a player connects his or her railroad to another player's rails, they receive their player's Golden Spike token and discards their own Golden Spike token if possible. Each Golden Spike token a player has in the game that is not their own is worth 2 victory points. So I like how this adds to as far as being able to go about and connecting. It's another one of those cool little area control, mess with the other player type of things that I really enjoy. I think that's almost it, except for a couple other things. These are icons that allow you to improve your city, and so you can improve your production. This is another added to the expansion. This is very welcome in my games, because a lot of times when I've played, I've been kind of if I really needed a boost to my production, but I was unable to like connect to a spot that was able to help me, that helped out a lot when I play the game. So I like those a lot, but not nearly as much as I enjoy the mystery hexes. And the mystery hexes go on preordained spots. Like, I know, if I remember correctly, like 2 of them are here. This is going by memory, and I do apologize, but they go on the board, and they're put face down, and you don't know what they are until you are able to connect to them, and then you can peek at them. In which case, then they're turned over, and they're all these different locations, like classic locations. A ghost town, outlaw hideout, cattle ranches, buffalo herds, Native American tribe, silver mine. And so when you turn them over, the cool thing is that depending on what it is, and depending upon your reputation, you'll be able to use them in different ways. And just because I don't have them all memorized, like you can see in the rules, there's like all these different things, like outlaw hideout. Once this hex is revealed, place 2 hideout tokens on it. You may place 6+ on the hex during the placement phase. At the start of the collection phase, you remove a token, place it in the game bank, and take one of the following actions below. And so if you're a good guy, you gain 3 reputation and 1 silver. And then if you're a bad guy, you get to place a hideout token on a black cat character you control that has 1 or 2 gun icons, and then collect 1 reputation, take 1 silver from all opponents. And so I like the fact that like it has all these new cool little locations that you can travel to. And whenever I see Ghost Town, I just think Scooby-Doo. But anyway, and then depending on what you are, it is different, and I love that added change to the game. So there you have it. I mean, it's like it's a lot of stuff that adds to the game, but doesn't like irrevocably change it and make it something different, which is something that I'll talk about when I talk about the game and the expansion in general. But there you go. Like I said, if you don't know how to play the base game, and so some of this stuff is kind of lost on you, I invite you once again to follow the link that I'll provide to go to my original review, and so you can go ahead and check that out. And please don't make fun of me, because that was done quite a while ago, and well, yeah, it wasn't filmed in my gaming dojo. It was actually filmed on my kitchen table and things like that. But let me tell you exactly what I think of the expansion, and then we'll go from there. Do you think that silver Sharpies? You see, I got a signed copy. Do you think the silver, or this is actually, it looks kind of like it might be gold, but like the metallic Sharpies were basically made for like being able to write on like autographs and stuff like that? Maybe. Anyway, there you go. I thought it was, wow, it is gold. I always thought it was silver. Maybe it's the lights. Yeah, whatever. So, there you go. That's what you get when you have well, this expansion. That's what it's going to add, and it's a ton of new rules, a ton of new ideas. I like the scenario, like a bunch of scenarios, ways you can play the game, and it does exactly what I want an expansion to do for me. In the world of expansions for board games, it seems like there's 2 kinds. There's the expansion that somebody realized, wow, my game was really popular. Maybe I should expand on it, and so I can sell more stuff. And they kind of shoehorn, they shove the new stuff in there, and they end up like changing the game and the inherent rules of it, and it's a different experience completely. And it just like, and those sometimes work. And I'm not saying that it's like a poor choice, if you will. I mean, who am I to tell somebody not to expand upon a game that was successful? But there is also this other type of expansion that you can tell when the designer was making the game. They had all these different ideas and things that they wanted to do with it, and they realized it was just too much. It was just way too much. They couldn't cram it all in, and they needed to kind of pick and choose and take some things out, and that stuff fits well into the, it like, it seems almost like it's an integral part of the game. It doesn't disturb the flow. It doesn't alter the rules in some game-breaking way. And it just, and also the biggest thing is that, it's like all the stuff you've learned as far as like how to play the game. And like you've played the game, 10, 12 times or whatever, like I have with Dark Horse, at least that many. That how to play the game is pretty much exactly the same. It's just, it's just instead of, certain dice rolls doing this, they just do something slightly differently. The actual like core mechanics remain the same. And so from the get-go, that's what this game does, and I appreciate that about it a great deal. I'm sure this expansion of this game, what this expansion does is it doesn't mess with it. It's to me, it's exactly what I want as far as that's concerned. Now, does it add to the game in some substantial way to make the actual game more enjoyable? Oh my, yes, it does. One of the things that, one of the few detractions I mentioned in my original review was that it didn't really feel Wild Westy to me. Yeah, it had a Wild West theme, and it had some elements to it, and it made it like, okay, it's an old West town, and mining, and there's a jail, and and like the spots that I'm using are very Wild Westy, if you will. But it also felt like I could just take the game and move it to a different scene and plop down the mechanics, and it could be a space. I could be in outer space, and all those different roles, you just change the name slightly, and they'd be the exact same thing. And instead of like like colonizing the land and making cities, you could be in asteroids and making space stations. And so I think I try to be funny when I name my reviews on BGG, and I think I said like when I did my review, I said surprisingly few bloody gun battles for a Wild West themed game, and it didn't make it like a bad game. I was kind of like, oh, I wish it could have had more. And this game, it's like it just takes the Wild West theme and just starts shoving it in, and it really starts to be more evident in the gameplay. I can't describe enough how much I appreciate the different characters that you're able to draw and pick, and it's just, and plus like the whole prospect of like having cards with different abilities and different powers, and that's one of the cool things about any game. It's like any thematic element to a game, it's drawing these cards with these different abilities, and like kind of like, oh, what am I going to get when you draw your cards? You're looking to see what you have, and then they're secret, and then you can play them down. It's like, oh, I've got Wyatt Earp now, and so I can chase down your Black Bart and what have you, and so there's that element to the game, and the other thing I liked a lot was also another deck of cards, was these enhancements that you were able to build to your already like to your like playing area. These cool little extra like buildings and stagecoach lines, stuff like that, that you're able to put in, and it added that extra feel to the game, that added a little extra boost. And plus, I enjoyed the fact that, because you're adding these different decks to the thing, you just didn't have the one deck of cards. I mean, it just added another really good choice, to the game. What do I need right now? What do I want to take a chance at trying to get? What do I want to try to find? And I liked that. I really dug the random mystery hexes. It was another one of those things. I love games with discovery elements. I love that whole idea of like, okay, I'm going to go check over this. I'm going to peek over here, and I'm going to see, what this thing is, and it's like, it's the ghost town. What can I use the ghost town for, and things like that. I liked that action. And of course, as with any game with different roles, any game where you add more roles that I can play, I'm going to appreciate that. I mean, everything about it added a I wouldn't say needed change to the game, but it added a refreshing change to the game, and it added just to every single thing to enjoyment. There's been a lot of expansions that like have the attitude of, here's a myriad of options, add what you want and play with what you want. Eclipse had that, and I like it, but I don't like it, if that makes sense. I like it because of the fact that if somebody comes up with an expansion for the game and it's all, you have to use all of it, and I don't like a certain part, I want to pull that out. I want to yank it out and just and then not even use it. It's one of the reasons why, like, when I play Arkham Horror, I have all the expansions, but I usually end up just playing with the Dunwich Horror expansion and the base set. I mean, just because the other stuff, I just, that's just what I want to use. I mean, that's like the pure feeling for the game for me. What I don't like, what I don't like about it is that I feel like you need to add it all. I feel like you need to play with everything, just because of the fact that if I have that option, why wouldn't I use it? And so you also, certain people in your gaming room, I really like that deck of cards, I want to use it, and some people are like, I don't like how that adds to it and whatever. So I mean, it's kind of a mixed bag. I mean, for me, the nice thing is that unlike in the Eclipse expansion, which I didn't really like that. I mean, whenever I play Eclipse, I barely use anything out of that expansion. I don't think I use anything actually. But with this one, it's all really, really cool and really awesome. I mean, it's just because it adds so much more fun stuff that you can do, and of course, like, the really fun thing, I mean, if I had to pick one of the many things that it does that adds that's fun, is that it's the robbing the places, obviously, and being the bad guy, and then also being the good guy, and tracking down the bad guys who are robbing the different locations on the board of their silver. And so that's probably the coolest part of the game for me, is that extra level of interaction, because there's way too many designer board games out there right now that just they shy away from the players actually being head to head, for lack of a better term, actually interacting, actually affecting one another. And when you add a mechanic that purposely puts you at odds with each other, that purposely puts you, you dueling it out, that has things like the golden spike, the golden spike that allows you to mess with other people's railroads, that adds the cowboy boot, things like that. When they add those things to the game, that actually, you're making decisions that affect the other people that play the game. I like that, because instead of me just having to tend my own garden and hopefully, it gets better than your garden over there at the end of the game, we can compare. Instead, I'm like actually going over to your garden and I'm kicking over your flower pots and I'm ruining yours. So I like the ability to do that in my games. So there you go. I don't really have I apologize, I don't have a picture or anything. I guess I can show you this kind of boring picture. But, so, go to the Kickstarter. The really cool thing with Kickstarter, if you don't own a copy of Dark Horse, there's actually a level that you can donate, that you can actually get the base game, and you can get the expansion in one fell swoop. I don't think I'll ever play Dark Horse again without at least some aspect of the expansion, but I'm probably... I play with all of it. I throw it all in and play with every single bit of it. So, I'd highly recommend doing that. And I really don't... I mean, and if you own the base game, there's really no reason not to get this expansion, because how it expands on it, how it makes it better, you won't be disappointed. So there you go. If you have any questions or concerns, please post those, and I'll answer those to the best of my ability. I'm sure Don will be more than happy to pipe in as well and let you know what he thinks, and let you know if you have any questions as well. So as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch me do this thing that I do. And until the next video, you have yourself an awesome day. Bye-bye now.